Caleb. A sharp pinch on my lower back made me hiss, my wife Chloe's handiwork. My 3-year-old daughter, perched on my stomach, was using a yellow duck balloon as a club against my face. Get up, Daddy. Mommy said if you keep sleeping, the amusement park will close and marry Annie Jenna. Me? My little traitor. She specializes in selling me out. And my jealous wife is harder to handle than a bad batch of parts from Jenna's latest order. Last night's workout was a little too intense. My back is killing me. And today, I get to be a human carousel. This is the daily grind of a man who has it all. Juggling a kid with one hand, a wife with the other, and taking friendly fire from both of them. One. Daddy, Daddy, get up. The tiny voice drilled into my ear like it was hooked up to a megaphone. I was in that hazy space between dream and reality when something soft started slapping against my face. It was followed by a surprisingly sharp thwack that left my right cheek tingling. NNGH. I groaned and tried to roll over, only to get another slap on the other side. There wasn't much force behind it, but the sheer, determined effort could only belong to one person, the tiny tyrant of my household. Wake up, Daddy. The sun's gonna burn your butt. This time the assault was more ferocious, a flurry of little smacks raining down on my face like firecrackers. I was finally wide awake, my eyes opening to meet a pair of huge, round ones staring right back at me. Her eyelashes, like little fans, fluttered as she inspected her handiwork. It was my daughter, Mia. She just turned 3. The kid inherited her mother's captivating eyes, but her temperament was a wild card. One minute she's an angel, the next she's a tiny tornado, a classic daddy's little traitor. Right now, she was kneeling on my stomach in a pink teddy bear onesie, her hair a bird's nest, clutching a limp yellow duck balloon. She'd clearly crawled out of her own bed and made a beeline for mine. All right, Miss Mia, I said, catching her chubby little arm and putting on my sternest face. You know this is domestic assault, right? She just blinked, unafraid, and then broke into a fit of giggles. She squirmed off my stomach and started bouncing on the bed in her bare feet. Daddy's a lazy bug. Mommy said if you don't get up, the amusement park will close. The amusement park. It hit me. Last night, before bed, I'd promised the two of them we'd go to that new adventure park on the edge of town today. No wonder she was on a mission. She's probably been dreaming about that carousel for days. I pushed myself up, my head throbbing with a dull ache and my back protesting. I couldn't be blamed for oversleeping. Last night's cardio session had been pretty demanding. The space next to me was empty, but the faint scent of gardenia from my wife's body wash lingered in the air. Speaking of my wife, Chloe, 25 this year, a year younger than me. At 5'8", she has the posture of a model, especially her legs, long, lean, and perfect. Whenever she wears heels, I have to tilt my head up a little to meet her eyes. Her looks are, to put it mildly, show-stopping. The kind of woman who turns heads on the street. Bright eyes, a delicate nose, and lips that just demand your attention. She looks a little aloof when she's not smiling, but when she does, 2 little dimples appear that could charm the soul out of you. And her body, well, let's just say she's got curves in all the right places. When I was trying to win her over, my buddies all said I must have won the lottery to land a woman like her. We've been married for 3 years now, and the initial fireworks have settled into a comfortable, loving rhythm, seasoned with a bit of spice. The woman is perfect except for one thing. Her jealousy could curdle milk. If I talk to a female colleague for 2 minutes too long at work, I'm guaranteed an interrogation when I get home. And that's not even mentioning Jenna, who is always finding excuses to be around me. Just then, the bedroom door creaked open. A tall figure leaned against the frame, arms crossed, watching me. Speak of the devil. It was my wife, Chloe. She was wearing a simple white knit sweater and a pair of light-wash jeans that hug her curves perfectly. Her hair was loosely tied up, revealing the pale, elegant line of her neck. A sliver of morning sun cut through the blinds, illuminating the soft fuzz on her cheek. Caleb, she said, her voice still husky with sleep, but carrying an authority you couldn't ignore. Are you going to let Mia perform a rock concert on your face all morning? I quickly scooped up the still-bouncing Mia, pulling her in my arms and tickling her mercilessly. I'm up. I'm up. Mia's my little alarm clock, more reliable than my phone. Mia shrieked with laughter, flailing in my arms. Daddy's mean. Mommy, save me. Chloe walked over and gracefully plucked Mia from my grasp, giving her a gentle pat on the butt. How many times have I told you not to bully your father? He tickled me first. Mia whined, hugging Chloe's neck and burying her face in her shoulder, her complaint full of righteous indignation. All right, my fault, I said, raising my hands in surrender as I swung my legs out of bed. I'm heading for the shower. Give me 10 minutes tops. Chloe, holding Mia, gave me a slow once-over. Her eyes paused on my lower back for half a second, a mischievous, knowing smile playing on her lips. And who was it last night who insisted he had endless energy and would definitely be the first one up today? My face flushed as a replay of last night flashed through my mind. Her in that black silk slip, whispering in my ear about trying a new massage oil she bought. Yeah, better not to think about that. The more I thought, the more my back ached. Hey, I was up against some pretty tough competition, I said, leaning in to kiss her. She turned her head, dodging it. Don't even start, she said, taking a step back with Mia. She raised an eyebrow at me. Get moving. I left breakfast warming in the kitchen. If you take any longer, we'll miss the amusement park, and the taco truck at the corner will be long gone. Yes, ma'am. I bolted for the bathroom and was done in 5 minutes. The guy in the mirror had faint dark circles under his eyes, but I clean up all right. I'm 5'10", I've managed to stay in shape, and I like to think I'm not hard on the eyes. Otherwise, I never would have landed a woman like Chloe in the first place. I own a small manufacturing plant that makes custom electronic components. Nothing huge, just a few dozen employees. Business has been steady the last couple of years. We're not rolling in cash, but I can provide a comfortable life for my wife and kid, and that's all that matters. When I came out, Chloe had already dressed Mia. Our daughter was wearing a pair of red overalls with a white t-shirt, little white sneakers, and her hair in 2 pigtails. She looked like she'd just stepped off a greeting card. Look, Daddy. Mia spun in a circle, her arms outstretched. Mommy did my hair. It's beautiful, I said, pinching her cheek. Our Mia is the prettiest princess today. And Mommy, she asked, tilting her head. Mommy is the queen, I answered without a second's hesitation. Chloe, who was putting on her shoes at the door, glanced back and shot me a look, but the corners of her mouth turned up. You're just a sweet talker. I walked over, grabbed my sneakers from the shoe rack, and gave her a playful squeeze on the butt. Comes with the territory. Keeping my wife happy is a husband's most basic duty. She swatted my hand away, a faint blush on her cheeks. Stop it, Caleb. Mia's right here. Mia covered her eyes with her hands, peeking through her fingers and giggling. Daddy and Mommy are being all lovey-dovey again. What is a little munchkin like, you know? Chloe said, her face still red as she pulled Mia's hands down. Let's go, let's go. Off to the park. I pulled my black SUV out of the garage. Plenty of space for family trips. Chloe sat in the back with Mia, and I watched in the rearview mirror as our daughter settled in with an iPad to watch cartoons. Chloe leaned back against the seat, gazing out the window. The sun caught her profile, softening her features. She was beautiful. Honey, I started. Should we eat at the park or find a place nearby for lunch? The park food is probably overpriced and terrible, she said, turning to look at me. Let's find somewhere else. I remember seeing a new bistro near there with great reviews. Sounds good. You're the boss. Just then my phone rang. It was one of the supervisors from a plant. He said there was a minor issue with a parts shipment and asked if I could come in to take a look. 2. You can't handle something that small? I asked, frowning. I told you, unless it's a major problem, you have the authority to make the call. I know, Cal, but it's the order from Ms. Stewart's company. Ms. Stewart, my stomach dropped. Jenna Stewart runs a trading company and is one of our clients. She's a year older than me and attractive enough, I guess, but she lacks Chloe's spark. For some reason, she seems to think there's something between us. She's always finding excuses to drop by the plant, bringing coffee for the team, or wanting to discuss business. The way her eyes linger on me makes my skin crawl. Chloe met her twice, and the fallout was nuclear. We had a huge fight over it. What's wrong with her shipment? I asked, trying to keep my voice neutral. There's a slight color mismatch on one of the components. You can barely see it unless you're looking for it. Ms. Stewart, she said she'd prefer to discuss it with you personally. The supervisor's voice was hesitant. I cursed under my breath. She wanted me to come in for that. It was a blatant excuse, Tell her I'll handle it this afternoon. I'm with my family right now, I said flatly. But that's the message. I hung up before he could argue. In the rearview mirror, Chloe's expression had already soured. She was fiddling with one of Mia's hair clips, saying nothing. What's wrong? I asked, playing dumb. Nothing, she said coolly. Is Ms. Stewart's order very important? Not at all, I said quickly. It's a tiny issue. The supervisor can handle it. She's just trying to make something out of nothing. Forget her. Let's just enjoy our day. Chloe just snorted, turning her attention to Mia. Mia, honey, where do you want to ride first when we get to the park? The carousel and the roller coaster. Mia yelled excitedly. You're still too little for the roller coaster, Chloe said, smiling and pinching her cheek. Then I want to feed the pigeons. Okay, whatever you want. I glanced at Chloe's reflection in the mirror. I knew she was stewing. That's how she is. She won't say what's bothering her, but her mind is racing. The smallest thing can set off a storm. The car soon left the city behind, heading toward the amusement park. The trees along the road blurred into a green streak, and sunlight dappled the pavement through the leaves. Mia had fallen asleep in the back, her head resting on Chloe's shoulder, her little mouth slightly open, still muttering carousel. Chloe was gently stroking her back, her expression so tender it could melt your heart. Still mad? I asked softly, slowing the car down. She was quiet for a moment before answering. No, you say that. I chuckled, but you get that look whenever you're jealous. You're a terrible liar. What is there to be jealous about? She shot back, glancing at me. Ms. Stewart is young, successful, and a major client. It's good for the business if you spend more time with her. The words were dripping with sarcasm, but they made me feel warm inside. She only gets jealous because she cares. The day she stops reacting is the day I should really start to worry. She's not a major client. It was a small order, I said, reaching for her hand on the armrest. She tried to pull it away, but I held on tight. In my world, nobody is more important than you. Or our little Mia. Her fingers twitched, but she stopped struggling. The corner of her lip curled up. Such a sweet talker. Only for you, I said, bringing her hand to my lips and kissing her knuckles. Her face immediately turned pink. She shot me a playful glare and snatched her hand back, fussing with Mia's shirt to hide her embarrassment. Seeing the blush creep up to her ears, I felt a surge of triumph. Calming Chloe down just required a thick skin and a few sweet words. It was a foolproof remedy. The car rounded a bend, and in the distance, we could see the park's iconic Ferris wheel glittering in the sun. Almost there, I said. Chloe glanced out the window and nodded. We should wake Mia up. Otherwise, she'll be groggy when we get there. I slowed the car, looking back at our sleeping daughter, and my heart swelled. This was my home. A little loud, a little chaotic with the occasional flare-up, but overflowing with warmth and a sense of belonging. I reached back and patted Mia's leg. Mia, sweetie, wake up. We're at the park. My daughter's eyelashes fluttered, and she groggily opened her eyes. She rubbed them and looked out the window. The second she saw the outline of the Ferris wheel, she was fully charged, sitting bolt upright. The park, it's the park. I parked the car, and as soon as I unbuckled my seatbelt, I heard rustling from the back. Chloe was bent over, trying to get Mia's shoes on, but our daughter was too excited, kicking her feet and chanting, "Hurry, Mommy, hurry. I want to ride the pony. Hold still, you little wiggle worm." I walked around and opened the back door, scooping Mia into my arms. She immediately wrapped her arms around my neck and planted a big, slobbery kiss on my cheek. Daddy's the best. What about Mommy? Chloe asked, getting out of the car. She had a small backpack with Mia's water bottle and a change of clothes. She was wearing white sneakers, and the way her jeans hugged her long legs made a couple of young guys walking by do a double take. Before my pride could even bubble up, I saw her looking at me with that playful, knowing smile. She reached out and wiped the drool from my cheek. Someone sure knows how to win over the kids. Hey now, I said, sliding an arm around her waist and giving her a little tickle. Pleasing my wife is my #1 priority. She dodged away, swatting at me. Stop it, Caleb, people are watching. A long line had already formed at the park entrance. Colorful balloons floated in the air, and cheerful kids' music blared from the speakers. Mia, perched on my shoulders, pointed excitedly. Daddy, look, that bear is so big. It was the park's mascot, a guy in a fluffy blue bear costume, waving and taking pictures with children. I bought our tickets online and walked in, holding Chloe's hand. Mia insisted on running ahead, squirming out of my grip before Chloe snagged her by the back of her overalls. "Slow down, sweetie. You'll fall and get hurt," Chloe said, holding her like a kitten. "What if you get lost?" "I won't get lost. I'll stay with Mommy and Daddy." Mia hugged Chloe's leg and grinned up at us, showing off her 2 new little canines. Just inside was the carousel, a kaleidoscope of colorful horses rising and falling under a canopy of flashing lights. Mia's eyes were glued to it. She tugged on Chloe's hand. "Mommy, I want to ride that one." "Okay, let's get in line," Chloe said, glancing at the queue, which wasn't too long. "I went to buy us some water." When I got back, Chloe was bent over, straightening Mia's overalls. The sunlight filtered through the trees, creating a golden halo in her hair. A little boy nearby was staring at Chloe until his mom tapped his head. "What are you looking at?" "That's somebody else's mommy." I walked over and handed Chloe a bottle of water, raising my voice just a little. "Here you go, honey. You must be thirsty." She took the water, twisted it open, and took a sip, giving me a sideways glance. "What's gotten into you?" "Nothing," I whispered, leaning close to her ear. "I just can't help but think my wife is the most beautiful woman here, and I feel like showing her off." The tips of her ears turned bright red. She pinched my arm. "You're ridiculous." When it was our turn, Mia insisted on riding the white horse right at the front. I lifted her on and was fastening the safety belt when she clung to my neck, refusing to let go. "Daddy, ride with me." "Daddy's too big for this, sweetie," I coaxed. "Look, Mommy's waiting for us right over there." Chloe was standing outside the railing, her phone up to take a picture, a smile on her face. "I made a deal with Mia. If you ride one whole turn like a big girl, Daddy will buy you cotton candy." "Deal. A pink one," she squealed, immediately letting go. "You got it." As the carousel started to turn, Mia giggled and waved at us. Chloe leaned against me, her shoulder pressing lightly into my arm. I stole a glance at her. She was watching Mia, a soft, loving smile on her face. "You think she's going to be even more of a handful when she's older?" I asked. "She takes after you," she replied without looking away. "You were a little terror as a kid. Who knows what she'll be like?" "How does she take after me?" I protested. "I was a perfect angel." "Oh, really?" She raised an eyebrow. "Because I heard a story from your mom about you chasing the neighbor's chickens and putting sand in their soup pot. Those are vicious rumors." I mumbled, my face turning red. My own mother, a world-class traitor. The carousel slowed to a stop, and I hurried over to lift Mia off. She was still buzzing with excitement, begging to ride again. Chloe pulled a wet wipe from her bag and cleaned her hands. "Let's go try something else first, and we can come back later, okay?" "Okay, then let's go feed the pigeons." Mia agreed. The pigeon plaza was crowded, mostly with kids. I bought a bag of birdseed, and the moment I handed it to Mia, a flock of pigeons descended on us. She got scared and shoved the bag into my hands. "You hold it, Daddy. The pigeons are scary." "It's okay, sweetie. They just want a snack." I took her little hand, put some seeds in it, and held it out. A pigeon's beak pecked at her palm, making her giggle. Her fear vanished, and she started grabbing handfuls herself to feed them. Chloe stood by, recording a video with her phone, murmuring, "Careful, sweetie, don't let them peck you." We were having a great time when a voice from behind called my name. "Caleb Vance." I turned and froze. It was Jenna. She was wearing a white sundress, her hair down, with light makeup on. She was holding a bag of birdseed, and a young woman who looked like her assistant was with her. "What a coincidence." "Fancy seeing you here," Jenna said, walking over. Her eyes scanned me up and down before landing on Chloe. She smiled. "You must be Chloe. I think we met once at the plant. You're even prettier in person." Chloe's face was unreadable. She gave a curt nod, a silent acknowledgement. My stomach lurched. This was the last thing I needed. "You're here for fun, too?" I asked, try to sound casual. "Kind of. I'm here with my assistant to do a little market research, see if we can do some promotional work with the park," Jenna said with a practiced smile. Her gaze fell on Mia, who was still in my arms. "Is this your daughter?" "She's adorable." "How old is she?" "She's 3. I said curtly, hoping to end the conversation. Mia, busy with the pigeons, had looked up when we started talking. She glanced at Jenna, then buried her face in my shoulder and whispered, "Daddy, who is that lady?" "She's a client of Daddy's. I murmured, stroking her hair. Jenna was about to say something else when Chloe cut in, her voice quiet but edged with ice. Mia, let's go play on the slides. It's less crowded over there. Okay. Mia immediately slid out of my arms and took Chloe's hand, pulling her toward the playground. We have to go, I said quickly to Jenna, turning to follow them. Wait, Jenna called out, stopping me. About that component issue. Are you free this afternoon? I can wait for you at the plant. We'll see. I'm with my family today, I said vaguely and walked away. I had just caught up to Chloe when I felt a vicious pinch on my lower back. I winced, nearly crying out. Ouch, what was that for? Chloe didn't look back, just kept walking with Mia, her voice like a shard of glass. A client? Looked more like an old flame to me. Don't be ridiculous. She's just a client, I explained hurriedly. You know how she is, a little too friendly. Is she friendly, or is she just friendly with you? Chloe stopped and spun around to glare at me. The way she looks at you, she's practically undressing you with her eyes. You're killing me, Chloe, I said, half laughing, half exasperated. I swear, there is nothing going on between us. I'm not interested in her at all. You'd better not be, she huffed, turning and walking away. But the grip on my arm loosened. Mia was at the top of the slide, watching us with a juice box in her hand. She took a long sip. Mommy, why did you pinch Daddy? Was he bad? Yes, Chloe said with a straight face. Your daddy was being naughty, attracting bees like a flower. Is Daddy a bee? Mia asked, her big eyes full of confusion. But Daddy doesn't have wings. I had to laugh. I walked over and lifted her off the slide. Daddy's not a bee, sweetie. He's a butterfly who only flutters around our queen. A laugh escaped Chloe's lips. She slapped my arm playfully. Oh, stop with the sweet talk. Mommy laughed. Mia clapped. Daddy, make Mommy laugh again. Easy enough. I let Mia down and in one swift movement swept Chloe off her feet and into my arms. She let out a surprised yelp and instinctively threw her arms around my neck. Caleb, what are you doing? Everyone's watching, she hissed, mortified and angry, pounding lightly on my back. Making you laugh, I said, spinning her in a circle. I looked at her flushed face and her furious eyes, and my heart felt like it was going to burst with honey. See, you're laughing. A few people nearby turned to look, and someone whistled. Chloe's face turned an even deeper shade of red as she struggled to get down. Put me down. This is so embarrassing. I set her back on her feet. She immediately pinched my side again, but this time it lacked any real force. It was more of a playful jab. Seriously, though, stay away from that gentlewoman. Yes, ma'am, I said, giving her a mock salute, which made her laugh again. Mia watched us, giggling along. Her juice box was empty. She held it up. Daddy, I want another juice box. All right, Daddy will go get you one, I said, patting her head. You wait here with Mommy. Don't run off. Okay. I went to a nearby kiosk and bought 2 more juice boxes. When I returned, I saw Chloe squatting down, wiping a milk mustache off Mia's face. The sun bathed them in a warm, gentle light. It was a perfect picture. I walked over and handed one of the juice boxes to Chloe. Here, you have one too. She took it, but didn't open it, just turned it over in her hands. What did Jenna say to you earlier? Just about the parts issue. Asked if I was free this afternoon. I blew her off, I said honestly. You'd better have, she said, looking at me. She stood up. It's getting late, and Mia's probably hungry. Let's go get something to eat. Sure. What are you in a mood for? Let's try that bistro you mentioned, she said, taking Mia's hand. It's not too far from here. You got it. I took Chloe's other hand. It was soft and warm. Mia walked between us, holding both our hands, humming a tuneless song. The sun was perfect, a light breeze was blowing, and I was with the 2 people I loved most in the world. I looked down at Chloe, and she seemed to feel my gaze, looking up to give me a small smile. The tension in her eyes seemed to have finally dissolved. I breathed a sigh of relief. I was about to say something else sweet when my phone buzzed again. I glanced at the screen. It was Jenna. I frowned and hit the ignore button. Who was it? Chloe asked. Spam call. I lied, shoving the phone back in my pocket. Come on, let's go eat. I'm starving. Chloe gave me a look, but didn't press it. She led Mia toward the park exit. I followed a step behind, a nervous feeling creeping into my gut. I really hoped Jenna wouldn't pull any more stunts. But just as the thought crossed my mind, I heard a voice call out from behind us. Caleb. Wait up. I turned to see Jenna hurrying toward us, a bright smile on her face. Are you guys leaving? I was just getting hungry myself. Why don't we all grab a bite together? I know a fantastic bistro nearby. My stomach plummeted. I turned to look at Chloe. Her face was a mask of stone, and her grip on Mia's hand had tightened. This was bad. This lunch was going to be a disaster. The moment Jenna's words hung in the air, the atmosphere turned arctic. I stole a glance at Chloe. Her face was blank, but her knuckles were white where she gripped Mia's hand. This was code red. I quickly tried to defuse the situation. Oh, that's okay. It's just a family thing. We won't bother you. It's no bother at all, Jenna chirped, closing the distance between us. Her eyes flicked toward Chloe. We're all friends here, right? What's wrong with sharing a meal? Besides, like I said, I know the owner of that bistro. I can get us the best table and a discount. My temper started to flare. I was about to shut her down when Mia, bless her heart, piped up. She held up her half-empty juice box. Annie, do you drink juice boxes? My daddy says only little kids drink these. Jenna's smile froze on her face, clearly not expecting to be checkmated by a 3-year-old. I seized the opportunity. See, the kid's starving. We've really got to go. It was nice seeing you. I took Chloe's hand and started to pull her away. But Jenna was like gum on a shoe. She followed right after us. Hey, Caleb, I'm serious. That place is amazing. I'm just trying to be nice. We appreciate the thought, Chloe said, stopping so abruptly I almost bumped into her. She turned to face Jenna, a cold smile on her lips. But when my family eats, we prefer it to be quiet. We don't like to be disturbed by outsiders. I'm sure you understand what that means, Miss Stewart. The message couldn't have been clearer. The air crackled with hostility. Jenna's face finally changed, a mixture of embarrassment and indignation. She stammered, I didn't mean it like that. I hope not. Chloe didn't give her another glance. She grabbed my arm and Mia's hand and stormed off. I looked back to see Jenna standing there, her face a blotchy mix of red and white. She looked like she'd never been shut down so brutally in her life. A small part of me felt bad, but mostly I was just relieved. Knowing Chloe's temper, it was a miracle she hadn't caused a bigger scene. Look at the trouble you attract, Chloe muttered, finally letting go of my arm once we were a safe distance away. How is this my fault? I pleaded. I have nothing to do with her. She's the one who won't take a hint. Right. It's everyone else's fault. You're completely innocent, she said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. I swear to God, I said, raising my hands. I have zero interest in her. My eyes and my heart are only for you and Mia. Mia, who had been listening intently, chimed in, Daddy, are Mommy and I in your eyes? I can't see us. You will when you're bigger, I said, pinching her cheek to try and lighten the mood. It didn't work. Chloe walked silently to the car, opened the back door, and buckled Mia in. Then she got in the back with her, slamming the door and leaving me standing outside. Great. She was still fuming. I sighed and got in the driver's seat. The drive to the bistro was silent and tense. Even Mia seemed to sense it, sitting quietly in her car seat and playing with her fingers. When we arrived, I rushed to open Chloe's door, offering a hand to help her out. She ignored it completely. She strode into the restaurant. Reservation for Vance. Her voice was ice. A server led us to a table by the window. Chloe lifted Mia into a high chair and started flipping through the menu, pointedly ignoring me. I leaned in, trying to sound cheerful. Honey, what looks good? I remember you love the sea bass here. I'm not hungry. She didn't look up. Mommy, I want barbecue ribs, Mia announced, raising her little hand. Okay, sweetie. Mommy will order them for you. Chloe's tone instantly softened. She ordered the ribs for Mia and a few other dishes she knew she'd like. Finally, she looked at me. What do you want? Whatever you're having. I'm not picky, I said quickly. She said nothing more and handed the menu to the server. The food arrived quickly. The sea bass was flaky and bright with a lemon caper sauce, and the barbecue ribs were falling off the bone. Perfect for Mia. I put a piece of fish on Chloe's plate. She glanced at it but didn't touch it. I put a small piece of rib on Mia's plate, and she went at it, getting sauce all over her face. You have some too, Daddy, Mia said, scooping up a bit of rib with her little fork and holding it out to me. Thanks, sweetie. I opened my mouth and let her feed me, a warmth spreading through my chest. As we were eating, my phone buzzed again. Jenna. I scowled and turned the phone off completely. Why didn't you answer that? Chloe asked, her voice laced with acid. What if it's an emergency? What kind of emergency could she possibly have? She's just looking for an excuse to bother me, I said, putting the phone away. It's off now. Peace and quiet. Chloe gave me a long look, then finally picked up the piece of fish I had served her and began to eat. I let out a silent breath. Maybe, just maybe, the storm was passing. I was about to try and coax a smile out of her when there was a commotion at the restaurant's entrance. Jenna came rushing in, looking frazzled, and marched directly to our table. Caleb, why didn't you answer my calls? She demanded, her eyes red as if she'd been crying. I was completely stunned. Did this woman not understand plain English? Chloe's face went dark. She put her fork down on her plate with a sharp clink. Ms. Stewart, what in the world do you want? I stood up, my own voice hardening. We told you. We're having a family meal. You are not welcome here. I just wanted to apologize, Jenna stammered, her voice cracking. I was out of line this morning. I shouldn't have bothered your family. I brought a bottle of wine as a peace offering. Please, just don't make me leave. Other diners were starting to stare, whispering amongst themselves. I could feel my face burning. I was about to ask the manager to remove her when Chloe spoke. Sit down. I stared at her, confused. Her face was a calm mask. Since Ms. Stewart is being so sincere, it would be rude not to share a drink with her, wouldn't it? Jenna's eyes lit up. She quickly pulled up a chair next to me and placed a bottle of red wine on the table. Thank you, Chloe. I knew you were a nice person. I had a very bad feeling about this. Chloe was about to go supernova. A waiter came over, opened the wine, and poured a little for the three of us. Jenna raised her glass. Cal, Chloe a toast. I'm truly sorry about this morning. Please don't hold it against me. Chloe didn't touch her glass. She just looked at Jenna. Ms. Stewart, let me ask you something. Of course, Chloe. Anything. Are you in love with my husband? Chloe's voice wasn't loud, but it cut through the restaurant's chatter like a knife. Jenna's smile shattered. Her face turned crimson. No. Chloe, you've got it all wrong. Wrong? Chloe let out a short, sharp laugh. Then why have you been calling him constantly? Why did you follow us all the way here? What exactly is your intention? I just think Caleb is a great guy. I want to be friends. Friends? Chloe lifted her wine glass and took a delicate sip. Let me tell you something, Ms. Stewart. Caleb Vance is my husband. He is the father of my child. He belongs to me, from the hair on his head to the soles of his feet. If you want to be friends, fine. But if you have any other ideas about him, don't be surprised when I make things very unpleasant for you. Chloe's voice was calm, but her eyes held a chilling intensity that made Jenna flinch. I really didn't. Jenna's eyes welled up. I look up to him. Look up to him all you want, but don't cross the line, Chloe said, setting her glass down. I'll drink this wine, and we'll consider your apology accepted. But this is the one and only time. If I ever see you bothering him again, I will personally make sure you have a very hard time doing business in this city. The threat was brutal and direct. Jenna's face went from pale to flushed and back again. The tears finally spilled over. She stood up abruptly. I'm so sorry to have bothered you. I'll go now. She turned and fled, covering her face, leaving the half-full bottle of wine behind. The other diners, having gotten their fill of the drama, went back to their meals. I looked at Chloe. When she got angry, she was genuinely terrifying. Did you have to be so harsh? I asked in a low voice. If I'm not, will she get the message? Chloe shot back a glare. With people like her, you have to shut them down completely, once and for all. It saves us trouble down the road. I had to admit, she had a point. Her method was blunt, but effective. So, can we finally eat in peace now? I asked tentatively. Chloe didn't answer. She picked up a piece of rib and held it to my lips. Here, this should keep you quiet. I quickly took it, my heart soaring. Was the storm finally over? Mommy, you were so cool just now. Mia clapped her hands, like a superhero fighting a monster. That finally broke the tension. Chloe laughed and pinched Mia's cheek. You're the sweet talker. The rest of the meal was peaceful. After I paid the bill, I lifted Mia into my arms, and Chloe walked beside me, linking her arm through mine. Did I scare you back there? She asked, looking up at me. Not at all. I smiled. My wife is a total badass. It makes me proud. Oh, shut up, she said, giving my arm a light pinch that was more affectionate than angry. On the way home, Mia fell asleep in my arms. Soft music played in the car, and Chloe leaned her head on my shoulder, quiet. Still thinking about Jenna? I asked. No, she shook her head. Just tired. We'll get you home so you can rest. It was almost 9 by the time we got back. I carefully placed Mia in her bed and pulled the covers over her. Chloe went to the bathroom to get a warm washcloth to wipe her face. By the time we had both showered and collapsed into our own bed, it was nearly 10. The only light was the soft glow from a single bedside lamp. Chloe lay with her back to me, silent. I knew she was still unsettled. I wrapped my arms around her from behind, resting my chin on the top of her head. Still mad at me. She didn't move or speak. I swear, Chloe, there's nothing between me and Jenna. I whispered, kissing the shell of her ear. From now on, I'll keep my distance. Work only. I won't say a single word to her that isn't absolutely necessary. Okay. Still silence. Honey, don't give me this silent treatment. I murmured, my hand gently stroking her face. If you're still angry, yell at me, hit me. Just don't keep it bottled up inside. My hand slid from her face, down the soft column of her neck, and lower still, until I was cupping her breast. Her body tensed for a second, but she didn't pull away. I knew I was in the clear. I gently turned her to face me. In the dim light, her eyes looked impossibly deep and luminous. I lowered my head and kissed her. She was hesitant at first, but then she softened, her lips responding to mine. The kiss deepened, growing hungry and urgent. Chloe, I breathed against her skin. I want you. She didn't say a word. She just wrapped her arms around my neck, pulling me closer. That was all the answer I needed. The temperature in the room climbed, our soft gasps and moans weaving together into a private symphony. Much later, when the world had settled back into a quiet rhythm, I held her close. Her head rested on my chest, her breathing even, her cheeks flushed with a beautiful, satisfied glow. Still angry, I whispered, stroking her hair. She shook her head, nuzzling against my chest. Not anymore. Good. No more crazy ideas, then. It's your fault for attracting so much attention, she mumbled, giving me another one of her soft pinches. Yes, my fault, I chuckled. I promised to be on my best behavior from now on. The model husband. She laughed at that, tilting her head up to kiss my chin. Go to sleep. I'm exhausted. Okay. I switched off the lamp, plunging the room into darkness. I held Chloe tighter, breathing in the faint, familiar scent of gardenias from her skin, and felt a profound sense of peace settle over me. A chaotic little girl and a beautiful, jealous wife. Life had its moments of turbulence, but they were drowned out by an ocean of happiness and love. This, I thought, was everything I could ever want. Hey, Chloe's voice was a clear, soft murmur in the dark. You'd better be up early tomorrow. It's your turn to take Mia to preschool. I smiled and squeezed her hip. Yes, my queen.